Hello fans, and welcome to our very first episode of This Week in Lacrosse. We're here to talk about, you guessed it, lacrosse. I'm McKee, one of your co-hosts, here with Corey Mitchell and Jordan Harmelink.
Hello.
Thanks guys for joining us on the first episode.
Happy to be here.
Well,
Absolutely.
you know, there's I think a lot of education that we have to do about lacrosse. Yeah. You're still educating me, and I'll help you educate everybody else, because I'll ask the dumb questions and you guys can answer them with smart answers. Sound fair?
We'll keep them fair.
All right.
Sounds good.
So lacrosse is kind of new to South Dakota.
Very new.
Let's talk a little bit about the sport first, and then we'll talk about how it got here and how it's getting here. How many players? Obviously, there's a field behind us, but how many players are on a team? What are the positions? Corey, why don't you start that?
The lacrosse, boys lacrosse is actually played 10 on 10. There's nine field players and a goalie. There's 3 attack players who stay on the offensive half of the field almost entirely.
Okay.
3 midfielders who can basically go anywhere on the field.
All right.
3 defenders who stay on the defensive half of the field. There are other strategies involving moving those around, but for the basics, that's the start. The goalie obviously stays in the goal, but they can also go anywhere if necessary, according to whatever strategies you use. Girls lacrosse is played 12 on 12.
Okay.
So it's a little different rules, different field sizes, different equipment. We just started a girls program this year, but our boys' presence is larger at this point.
Yeah, but the girls' program is growing.
Yes, absolutely.
It's grown since last year when I think there were 2 girls trying.
Yeah,
they came to tryouts.
Yeah, we had 20 during the spring, and we have another 9 or 10 this second session. So
it's taken off.
Yeah.
So Jordan, tell everybody how you got involved with lacrosse, if you would.
Lacrosse in general? Or?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my older brother played lacrosse at Dordt College at Sioux Center, and I played football in high school. Always wanted to play football, and watched him play lacrosse, and especially his last year, I saw how much he enjoyed it, and I kind of thought about playing football, but instead I thought let's try lacrosse instead, because it was a little less time constrained in terms of in college at Dordt. So I tried lacrosse instead. I loved it ever since. I mean, I jumped in right away, and I worked my butt off to try to be the best I can be, because I see how much fun it can be, and I just see the benefits of it too, because it's a fun sport. It's a new sport. That's probably the best thing about it. It's a new sport. Not a lot of kids know about it. That's probably the most fun thing about it. Is you're trying something new. You're introducing something new to everybody, and that's the most exciting thing.
Well, I think a lot of kids like that. They like doing something that not everybody does.
Exactly, and I think that's what it is. And I think especially at Dordt when I was playing, we took a lot of pride in playing a sport that not a lot of kids knew how to play. And we were playing a team sport that, you can't say almost everybody can hit a baseball, almost everybody can shoot a basketball, not everybody can throw a lacrosse stick. I mean, not everybody can shoot a goal, stop a pass. It's completely different. So we took a lot of pride in that. We tried to play the best, and that's what a lot of it was in college.
Well, and visiting with some of the girls here last night at their training session, that was one of the things that attracted them to the sport, is that nobody else really knows that much about it either. So you come in about the same level as everyone else.
Yeah.
And it's the best time to get started, because you're starting at the ground level with everyone else. So nobody's light years ahead of you yet.
Yep. So Jordan, what position did you play?
I actually played goalie for 2 years in college. I was a heavy set fellow. I'm still a big guy, but I was a heavier set. They put the fat kid in the goal for a while.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And then after 2 years, I lost a lot of weight, and I moved up to D-pole to play defense. I played there for the last 2 years, and that's where I brought it here to Sioux Falls to kind of help coach the defense on the high school team, and obviously teach other things about the game. But I'm here mainly to talk about defense, or try to coach the defense up a little bit.
Now, are there special names for the defense players?
Call them D-poles, long sticks, long poles,
Okay.
defensemen. There's all kinds of things you can call them, but they're the guys with the long poles. That's the most important thing to remember.
Well, and I think that's kind of an interesting. I did notice that on one of the first games that I came out to, that the defense depots had longer sticks. And when we talk about sticks, we're talking about the cross, right?
Right.
One of these. They're longer. Why?
Yeah. There's a lot of benefits to using the long stick. I think the biggest one is use them for jabbing, poking the ball loose. So if a guy's coming out with a short pole, you want to get that long pole in here and jab it. You got enough space where you can poke and try to get that ball loose. Another big advantage I think of a long pole is ground balls. Picking up ground balls, you have a little extra stick, a little extra lean to pick up a ball and run when somebody else is chasing you down, and picking off passes in the air and things like that. Those are probably the benefits. But obviously the biggest one is using that pull to jab your opponent, try to get that ball loose, hitting the stick, get in the head, try to get it on his hands and get the ball loose. That's probably the biggest benefit of a long pole.
Okay. Now let's talk a little bit about the positions and the equipment here. We've got helmets that are worn, gloves, because getting hit on the hand with one of those sticks would not be that much fun.
It
for lacrosse.
hurts with gloves on too.
I bet it does.
It still can hurt.
And there's also some other pads that people wear. You know.
Yeah, in boys lacrosse they wear shoulder pads, elbow pads, gloves, cup.
It's important to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, you gotta take care of yourself there. No shin guards.
No shin guards.
Okay.
Goalies can wear it as an option, but generally they're more mobile if they don't.
How is girls' protective equipment different?
Girls just wear goggles, a mouth guard, and a stick. They don't wear gloves or any protective equipment because there's no body checking. And they actually have rules that prevent players from shooting into traffic or into another player. They have rules that prevent a player from jumping in front of a shot. So it's meant to be more of a finesse game.
Okay.
And so they just wear their goggles and mouth guards.
So how about the game structure? You know, soccer is played in halves. Well, it depends on what age you're at. With basketball, it's played in quarters. Hockey's in 3 periods. How is lacrosse game structured?
Lacrosse game has 4 quarters, depending on the number of the age. They can be either 10-minute, 12-minute, or 15-minute quarters.
Okay. Do they swap ends?
They'll swap ends every quarter.
Every quarter. Okay.
Girls lacrosse is actually played in 2 halves.
Okay.
So.
See?
There's differences.
Yeah.
But it's almost like we need one half of the show to talk about boys and one half to talk about girls. And as we go through and work on this, we may start doing that. But
absolutely.
It's important to understand that there are 2 different types of games. And for quite a while here, the girls that were playing lacrosse were playing boys lacrosse.
Yeah, we've kind of done several sessions throughout the last couple of years trying to build the program. And every session we had 2 or 3 or 4 girls who played, and they were always a little bummed there weren't more girls, and we really put a focus on getting girls to start this year. Started a girls program and fell into a phenomenal coach who played girls lacrosse, women's lacrosse at St. Cloud State. So she's taken the reins of that program and really taken them places that we just couldn't.
Yeah.
And it's been a really great relationship so far.
Well, it is nice for the mentoring as well as understanding the girls' game to have a female coach who played the girls' game.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many nuances that are different than the boys' game. From the face-offs are different. Just the ball movement strategies are different. There's a lot of different aspects to the game. Yeah.
Well, we talk about how it's a new sport to South Dakota, but it really is. Many will tell you it's the oldest sport in North America. Played by, what is it, 12th century, 11th century Native Americans that they have documentation?
Yeah, I think it's over 900 years old. It's the first written recording of it. So I think around 1100 AD by Native Americans in the Northeast.
Yeah.
Started playing it. So they used to use it to settle disputes rather than going to war. They would use it to settle disputes. They use it to please their creator in a spiritual sense. Use it as a medicine game to help heal the sick, because it provides such an outlet for those guys physically. They have a lot of spiritual connection to it.
Now, there's a lot to be said for sweating, working up a sweat.
So we use it as an outlet too, right?
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, they play what they call the creator's game, having talked with some of the Native American tribes and programs that have lacrosse programs. They play what they call the creator's game. And I understand you're going to have some of that going on this weekend.
This weekend we're having a jamboree on Saturday where we're having games for all the new programs in South Dakota that haven't had a chance to really play any games. We're going to bring them together, basically throw sticks in the middle, let them play 3 games on Saturday, and then we're going to do a little history of lacrosse presentation for everyone, talk about our future plans for our programs and the other programs we've gotten going, and then we're going to finish the day with a creator's game.
Wow.
Essentially that is...
Before we talk about that, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
Hear from our sponsors, because this is kind of exciting and we want to spend a little more time talking about that.
Sounds good.
We'll be right back.
You've worked hard all year. I need you to dig down deep today, because today, everybody plays.
Everybody plays.
Everybody plays.
Everybody plays.
Play. When we first learned to work together, it was through play. We learned social skills, give and take, freedom and teamwork through play. There's no age limit on play, no skill level required. Play It Again Sports knows play. We buy and sell new and quality used sports and fitness equipment for less, so everybody can play.
Come on, let's play.
You bet I play.
Now it's time to play.
Play It Again Sports.
Play It Again Sports.
Play It Again Sports.
The official sponsor of
All those that play.
Welcome back to This Week in Lacrosse. Here with Corey Mitchell and Jordan Harmelink. We're talking lacrosse. You know, before we talk any more about what's going on this weekend, that's really exciting, but I think we need to go back a little bit further, not 900 years ago, but just a few years ago, and talk about how the program that's right here in Sioux Falls got started. And Corey, you know, you're considered the guru of lacrosse in Sioux Falls.
Okay.
So we're going to count on you for that history lesson.
Right on. Okay. Well, I actually was a software engineer by trade. I went to school and have 2 master's degrees that I'm not using right now, which is a little bit hard on the bank book. But I was training youth athletes, primarily hockey players, because that's kind of where my passion has always been. And there's a big push for youth athletes to play multiple sports, just to make them more athletic, teach them different skills, prevent that burnout process that happens by playing year-round. So for those hockey players who I was working with, we decided to try some lacrosse during the summertime because the skills are very complementary. The athleticism is huge, and just to have some fun. And there were several non-hockey players that played in that first session we did as a pilot. So we had another session in that fall, and the ratio of hockey to non-hockey actually shifted a little bit more towards non-hockey. So
people that weren't playing hockey already.
Yeah, so it just turned into one of those things that there was people who asking for it that weren't part of the original target. So we decided to start a program. So
was that the fall of 2013 it would have been?
Yep, that was fall of 2013,
Okay.
and that's really kind of when we made the decision to spend the winter of 2013, 2014 getting all the business origin set up, getting connected with U.S. Lacrosse, getting all of our ducks in a row so we could actually put on a program and focus on the quality of the program as opposed to just winging it like a lot of happens.
Organizations start, yeah.
So last year, spring of 2014, April 7th was our very first practice here at Riverdale Park.
Yeah, when we were here.
Yeah,
because we talked to you back in February, and you said you're getting ready to launch lacrosse, and we said let's do lacrosse 605.
Yeah, it was
fun.
Like the perfect storm.
It was. We met at hockey. So.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a really great deal because during that 2013-2014 season or off season, I had a lot of people like Jordan and Alex Soundy and high school coaches reach out to me saying, "Hey, I play lacrosse. I want to get involved." And the amount of support and positive energy going into this whole project has been unbelievable.
The whole village.
Yeah.
So Jordan, were you in Sioux Falls at that point, or were you still at Dort?
I was. I got married. Well, I graduated college and then got married that next summer. And then my wife and I moved to Sioux Falls here. And I really want to stay in lacrosse. I thought about, do I commute back to Dort College and be an assistant coach there? Or can I play somewhere? And then I actually got a text from Alex, a buddy of mine who also coaches here, and Corey Mitchell reached out to me as well and said, "Hey, we're starting a lacrosse program here in Sioux Falls. You played. You want to coach?" I'm like, "I'm in." Where do I sign up? To coach, to play, whatever I can do. Because the experience I have playing lacrosse, I want to give back to these kids. Because to play lacrosse at this age, I'd kill to be starting this early.
Yeah.
So I mean, they're really lucky, and I hope they realize that too. But it's a blast coaching these kids too, to be able to stay in the game and coach it. I'm still learning to coach, but it's a lot of fun either way.
Well, and lacrosse is, you're absolutely right. It's a game that's really easy to fall in love with.
Yeah, it is.
When we went down, we came and watched the first tryout and didn't quite get it, but the kids didn't know really either what they were doing yet. And then we met you and we went down and watched the game at Dort.
Yeah.
We were hooked. It's like, dang, this is another great sport.
It is.
As windy and cold as that was.
Yeah.
It was miserable down there.
It's pretty typical for an Iowa day. So.
But there was lacrosse being played, and we were learning a lot more about it.
Yeah.
So seeing the amount of physical contact that was happening, there was still some physical contact, but not a whole lot, but a lot of athleticism. It was just really fun to watch.
But I'm sure you've seen too how quickly it can be learned. I mean, these kids are learning. You're probably learning just as fast as they are.
Yeah, well, watching them and seeing how quickly they progressed has been amazing.
It is.
We don't get hired for every practice, obviously. Right. So when you come out like every 3 weeks or 4 weeks and see them, you really notice the difference.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really that's the funnest thing is you see that spark in their eye that they got it. They figured out how to cradle with their offhand or their one-hand cradle without dropping the ball. They throw a cool fake without dropping the ball. It just propels them from there. It's awesome.
So last April you had that tryout, that spring tryout. How many kids were there? I can't remember.
Well, due to a scheduling snafu, we had all 71 show up at the first
That's right.
practice.
There was all ages, boys and girls.
Instead of having them split over 2 sessions.
Yeah.
So we had 71 kids. We split them up into 4 sessions, and 4 stations. We kind of got through it. Really,
You're all
pretty well.
your tails up.
Yeah.
Yeah. trial by fire, basically.
It was. It was still a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, and I know that there's Black Hills Lacrosse is going as well. Now, do you know when they got their start? I'm hoping we can get someone from there on the show one of these times soon.
This was they just finished up their 4th season.
Okay.
They usually do their season and end right around the 1st of June.
Okay.
And then going forward, that'll be probably the model
Okay.
for the rest of us too. So.
Okay. So they've been going for 4 years now.
4 years.
You've been going for 2.5, basically.
Yeah,
3.
this is our second season.
Second full
so-
season.
Yep.
And now it's not just here in Sioux Falls and in Rapid City. You got programs going on all over the place.
Right. Well, one of the first challenges we found is that, as things get going and kids start learning how to fill those fakes and do those skills, when we get to play games, coach, well, without
Yeah.
traveling 6 hours for a game, we don't really have an option. So we also started a program in Huron last year with, I think we had 16 kids last year there.
Okay.
And now this year we started programs in Aberdeen, Watertown, Brookings, and Mitchell to go along with Huron and Sioux Falls. So
Wow.
the idea is to try to get things moving in towards the
Yeah.
state league for next year.
Well, and I see some games scheduled on the calendar to go up to Aberdeen. Is there something, or maybe it's something else going on in Aberdeen? I was looking at the calendar and saw that there was something happening in Aberdeen for lacrosse.
Well, just their practices
Okay.
are going. This is actually the last week for the programs, all the satellite programs.
Okay.
Which really just was a grassroots startup.
Okay.
Get them playing, teach the skills, and then we're having our jamboree this weekend to kind of cap everything off.
Okay. Now, do you know if Spearfish also has a lacrosse program?
Spearfish started a program this spring, kind of under the umbrella of Black Hills Lacrosse. I don't know if they're working together, if they just kind of borrowed the services of Black Hills Lacrosse and their website and stuff, but they got up and going. They had a U11 team and a U15 team when we went
Great.
out for their tournament. So
Those younger ages are really critical to keep it going.
yeah, and actually we have a kid here from Sioux Falls who's moving to Spearfish. So
Oh,
we're going to get to reunite with him every now and again.
great, great, on the field. And then Sisseton is getting one going.
Assistant is working on reinvigorating with the tribe up there,
Okay.
along with a couple of other reservations at Rosebud. Yankton Sioux has
Yankton
some
Sioux's had
activity.
one for a while.
They have their yearly lightning stick camp, where really all of the reservations come together and do a lightning sticks camp, and they're really trying to re-energize lacrosse with their culture, and it's been a great relationship with that community as well.
Well, there's definitely some advantages for them to get those activities going for the kids.
Yeah,
so.
absolutely.
Well, let's take a quick break here from our sponsors, and we'll come back and we'll talk about this weekend, because I'm really excited to hear about that.
Sounds good.
All right.
Getting recruited by college coaches is more difficult every year. There are thousands of other athletes competing for your position. MyPlayerPage.com is the best place for athletes to showcase their personal and player information. Check us out today at MyPlayerPage.com. Any sport, any athlete, any state, any city, champions all.
Bargain Bites has a huge supply of refurbished electronics. They're a Microsoft authorized refurbisher. Just look at this. Computers as low as $100 and a wide variety of electronics, all so affordable. Look at these deals. A Dell 4-core laptop, fully tested, only $200. A MacBook, fully tested and ready to go, only $200. Subscribe to the Bargain Bites YouTube channel and get all sorts of great tips from super technician Brendan. Bargain Bites, just east of the airport off Benson Road. Visit them today online at bargainbites.net.
Welcome back. Let's talk a little bit about high school lacrosse. Jordan, you are the coach for the boys' high school.
One of the 3 coaches.
One of the 3
Yep.
coaches.
Yep.
And you coach everybody else pretty much, right?
I'm like the backup.
You're assistant coach.
Everybody's backup. Yeah.
You're everybody's assistant.
Yep.
Yeah. But tell me a little bit about I've really seen a tremendous improvement in the boys' high school team. You've got to be so proud of those kids.
Yeah, compared to last year, but even looking back from day 1 this year to now, we talked about earlier that spark in their eye. You see that now, especially a lot of these kids. Like, hey, I get it. I know how to cradle. I know how to pick a ground ball. There's a couple of kids that love scoring goals and love talking about it too. So I mean, you
a little trash talk.
Yeah, a little
good.
trash talk is all right. But when they're whooping me on the practice field, I don't know about that. I gotta start trying a little harder, I guess. But to see the progression from day 1 to the now, like I said earlier, to these kids at their age to be playing the way they're playing, I mean, they're just going to get better if they keep working. There's 4 or 5 kids I can think of right now that are freshmen, sophomores, that if they keep playing, keep getting better, I mean, we're talking college scholarships here. I really believe that, because some of these kids just have the talent and they have the knack for it. So I'm really excited to see what the kids. I'm excited to coach them. I love coaching them. You know, myself, Alex Soundy, and Corey Engel, the other 2 high school coaches, all 3 of us, we worked really well together. You know, I played with Alex in college, and Corey coming in this year for the first year, he stepped in, did a great job, and all 3 of us, I think we just worked really well together to try to create a positive practice environment, and these kids really feed off it. You know, sometimes it's hard when you have many kids show up, but you know, we get a full practice going on, we can really be competitive out there. We can start hitting each other. That's what they want to do.
They want that physical contact.
They do. That's all they want. It seems like sometimes. So.
Well, they're just having a blast out there. You know, and watching them continue to grow and get better and better. You're absolutely right. There's going to be more opportunities because lacrosse is the fastest growing sport in the NCAA. And I see that Rocky Mountain Athletic Conference just is adding it for this fall for the first time. So there's going to be more opportunities. That's the men's side. Women's side, there have already been more on the East Coast, especially.
Well, not too. We talked about having that, you know, the camp here for college coaches to come, and you know, when we said that to a couple of kids, their eyes lit up like, okay, here we go. You know, there's a future in this game. You know, and talking to my coach back at Dordt College, you know, he's like, I'll come out and see if I can get some kids come to Dordt. I'd love for all these kids to go to Dordt and get that program going up again. It's struggling a little bit, so I'd love to see them come up there. But you know, just these kids to be playing, and you know, most important thing is they're having fun. They love it, and I'd love to see all these kids go play at the next level because I think all of them have the capabilities to do it. So.
Well, and there have been club teams at SDSU and USD. I'm not aware of any at any of the other schools.
Yeah, I mean, now I know Dordt has a team. Obviously, there's Creighton, there's USD, there's SDSU. Augustana used to have a program.
Oh, Augie did too.
I'm not sure if they do anymore, but they did for a while.
Well, maybe you guys can help them get that started too.
That'd be great.
Because you have a men's league going now, right? A little bit.
We do, yeah. Sunday nights we're trying to get like a men's league going. Trying to find some buys. We're getting a lot of high school kids to come play with us, and that's where they really whoop on us a little bit. It's a lot of fun.
Because you're on the level playing field then.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's just really fun to see it continuing to grow, and all this the season is kind of starting to wind down, but you're heading to a really important weekend this weekend. So let's talk a little bit about the what are you calling it?
A jamboree.
A jamboree.
Yep. The idea is that really all the newer programs, none of them had enough kids at any age group for a team.
Okay.
So to find games for them was a challenge. So we're bringing them all together. We're going to mix kids from different towns.
Different ages?
Well, we'll still have U9, U11, U13, and then a U17 division. So we'll mix kids from different towns. We'll basically do dark versus white. We're just going to let them play some games.
So these will be kids from all over, all the different lacrosse programs, possibly?
Yeah, we have kids coming from Aberdeen, Watertown, Brookings, Mitchell, Huron, Sioux Falls, Rosebud, Chanchayapi.
And Chanchayapi is in Minnesota, right?
They are in Minnesota. Yeah. They're actually bringing some. Kind of using it as a reunion site because they're bringing some folks from Winnebago, Nebraska.
Oh wow!
Yankton Sioux,
how fun!
So they're bringing a handful from each reservation.
What a great cultural exchange too.
It's great. It's
you know, that's really gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to that.
It's just good for building relationships too. I mean, all these programs. I mean, I'm excited to see what these kids in Brookings can do. I mean, especially the younger ones, the older ones too.
In Aberdeen.
See if I can convince some parents to move down to Sioux Falls, maybe. Get some other team. But
he's a hard recruiter, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Come to Sioux Falls and then go to Dordt.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Recruiting all the way.
Yeah. I think it's great too because we always want to make sure we're teaching the kids about the history of the game so they know where it came from and where the respect and roots are, because it's really a game founded on respect and sportsmanship, and we're really trying to build it the right way on those two cornerstones.
So now you're going to have a lesson about the history of the game. And how is that going to be done at what time? So if someone that's kind of interested but maybe isn't interested in staying all day and watching all the games.
Gotcha. Well, we have games starting at 9 o'clock, and I believe the presentation on the history and origins of lacrosse will be around 5 or 5:30.
Okay.
And then that'll be done by myself and Frankie Jackson from...
Oh, Frankie's going to do it together?
Yep. Chen Chappie's going to come over and try to just provide some background on the game that we don't really normally get to cover during practices because we're so focused on teaching the game. So it'll be a really good history lesson, kind of cultural exchange, like you said. And then we're going to finish the day on Saturday with a creators game. So we're going to put the creators poles out. Basically, it's a 4x4 post. And we're going to use essentially 2 fields or 3. and then everybody who's here with the stick can play at
Wow.
one time, just like they've always played for centuries.
How fun is that going to
Yeah,
be?
it's gonna be a lot of running. I can see it already.
Well, you know, and I did have the pleasure of interviewing and visiting with Coach Jackson at the Spark Shootout, and what they're doing there and what the game means to those kids on their reservation is just amazing.
Yeah.
And how it's helped support the kids and reconnected them with their roots and the long-standing traditions of honor.
Yeah, it's very cool because, and they've kind of approached it differently. They've approached it from the spiritual and historical side, and so it really means a lot to them. And you can see it in their play. I mean,
Yeah.
they are playing for a higher purpose than winning a game.
Yeah.
And it's really cool to see that connection with their stick, with each other, with everybody on the field, and that's really what we really want to build on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I got to commend you guys for all you've done to get it up and going here, and to the folks out in Rapid City that have got the Black Hills lacrosse going, and the people in Spearfish and everywhere that are working on it. Bringing this great game to these kids is a gift. It's
Yeah.
a legacy that you're establishing, and we're thrilled to be able to be a part of it. And we look forward to getting together and talking more, and doing a few more shows and letting people know what's going on with lacrosse and learning more about it.
Yeah,
So.
I'm excited.
Excited
Well, we
to see
have
where
a
it's
little,
going. So
yeah,
it's gonna be
it's exciting. You
It
guys are
is.
doing a great job. So now I'll teach you how we do. You've been teaching me lacrosse. I'll teach you how we sign off on the show. Okay, I'm going to introduce myself, and you introduce yourself.
Okay.
You introduce yourself, and we'll let these people know that are watching that they're Lacrosse 605.
Okay.
You ready?
All right.
All right. Thanks for joining us this week on This Week in Lacrosse. I'm Carol McKee,
I'm Jordan Harmelink.
Corey Mitchell.
and you are Lacrosse 605.